Hello everyone, Phoenix Knight here. Welcome to the channel, and welcome to a new playthrough on the channel. Evening Magnus, nice to see you stopping by tonight. We are headed back to the Azores after our adventures after starting Game 2 of the Stanley Cup Final in Strat Hockey last week, as we play Amerika Bomber, Evil Queen of the Skies by Compass Games. For those of you who aren't familiar with Amerika Bomber, this is another Gregory Smith design, but this one has you in the Azores in World War II Europe after the Germans have won the war, where we're actually starting to go after the United States mainland, as we're turning our attention now to the U.S. after, again, the Germans having won the war in Europe. So, you'll see a lot of familiar mechanics here if you played any of the Greg Smith designs, whether you played something like Night Fighter Ace, Interceptor Ace, what else? The Hunters, of course, and Evening Jester. I was listening to you a little bit in the car on my way home today. You're getting ready for a Glory Days college football game. So, yeah, let's say we jump right into this mission so we can get over to Jester's channel for a little college football. Now, in case you're puzzled about why I'm still very much on my semi-break, but as this is a Wednesday night, this is definitely going to qualify. This Wednesday night content, it was never going to be subject to that semi-break. So, with that ramble out of the way, let's jump in. First order of business I need to do is get my backlight on the camera. So, bear with me just a second. Probably doesn't add much in the grand scheme of things, but I like making sure everything is as bright as I can make it. So I'll move up our map just a little bit. Then we'll roll. I put the dice down over here. So we're going to roll for our target. We've got and I'm probably going to butcher the pronunciation of this. We've got our Amerikanische Zielest, basically the target manifest that we're going after with our long-range Amerika Bomber. We'll roll that. So we rolled our 2d6. We're going to combine them APA style. In this case, we got a black 1 and a white 6. I read that as black then white. So 16 is sending us after Big Inch Pipelines in North City, Illinois, which is Zone 6. Probably not that far from where I live, actually. Where's my target shit? Here we go. So we're looking at Zone 6. Looks like we're going to be deep into the U.S. mainland for this one. Just going to make some notes in my various logs. Let's see, North City, Illinois. So Zone 6 is where we're going. We're going all the way out here. That's basically to as far as we can go. Also, after our last mission, we ended that one getting shot down, which I'm hoping we aren't going to have happen here. So, now that we're all set for that, let's jump in. We move into Zone 1, where we're rolling 2d6 for interception. We're still in April to June 1947. Oh, there's no interception roll in Zone 1. Never mind. So, Zone 1, nothing. Which means now we move into Zone 2, and now we start getting into interception rolls. So we're rolling on our interception chart, and since we're still in May 1947, we're going to be rolling on this chart with a 2d6 roll. Alright, so let's see what we get here for our first interception. That's an 8, which is actually very good for us, because an 8... is actually no contact. So we'll move into Zone 3. This, I believe, is the last zone. This is the last zone where we could potentially have friendly fighter cover. So let's hope we get a bunch of no contact rolls the rest of the way in, but I'm not holding my breath for that. That's a 10, which of course will be contact because we'll have two F8F Bearcats coming at us. So we need to find 2 F8F chicks. Here we are. Yes, no contact is the best result you can get. Alright, so we're going to roll for what approach they're coming at us from, which means we need our position chart in shot. I'll put that up there. Probably a little bit rough to see, but you guys can get the general idea. Think of this as being basically a clock. So actually it's a little bit of a weird clock. So we've got approach 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then 9 is vertical climb, 10 is vertical dive. So we've got 2, actually, let's get that out of my way. I'll grab the pen so I can make a note of this. So 2, what did we say? F8F Bearcats. Okay, so we're going to roll. I'm rolling 2 dice. I'm rolling a D10 for which approach they're coming at us from, and a D6 for the altitude. 1 to 2 is low, 3 to 4 is medium, and 5 to 6 is high. So let's see where the first Bearcat is coming at us from. That one's coming at us from approach 6, which is going to be out here, and they're coming at us from low altitude. So we've got 1 coming at us, 6 low. And then for the other one, and roll that the same way. That's approach 9, and because that's vertical climb, I can actually disregard the black die because there's only the 1 round. The trade-off there is the Amerika Bombers will only get 1 round, or the fighters will only get 1 round at vertical climb. So that's not altogether nothing. But we do also have potential fighter cover, so we're going to roll a d6 to determine if anything gets driven off. So we have a 1 to 3 roll to remove one of these fighters. That's a 1, so we do get to remove one of these fighters. I'm going to remove the one that was coming at us from approach 3. Actually, approach 6. Actually, hold on. Do I want to do that? Do I have anything that can aim at vertical climb? Because I might want to try to run that one off. The ventral turret could go at vertical climb. I would get 3 rounds at the... at the Bearcat that's coming at us from approach 6. So this one, let me zoom in just a touch so you can see a little bit better of what I'm rambling about here. So this is the one that we're looking at from approach 6. This one we'd get 3 turns at, whereas this one we'd only have to worry about for 1 turn. They need a... Let's see, they need a 5 or 6 to hit us, as do we. So I think given that it's only 1 round, I am going to have the fighters drive this one off that's coming at us from approach 6. So that one will drive off. Driven off. Okay, so now we are dealing with the... I thought I had a quick reference on here. Oh well, I can probably deal... Oh, I've got a sequence of play right here. This will work. Okay, so we'll conduct our combat. So we're going to use... So what can we aim at approach at vertical climb? We can aim... Looks like it's going to be the ventral turret that we're going to aim at vertical climb, which is a 6 firepower, which is our 6 firepower forward machine, which is our 6 firepower machine gun. So I'm going to go ahead and roll the d6 for that. So I need remember, from vertical climb, I need a 5 to 6 to hit. And I fire first. That's a 4, so of course nothing happening there. And I also have to, oh no, I don't designate an aim point. Right? Yes, damaged fighters fire. Assigns all gun, then resolves the fire. Okay. Rolls again to see if okay. So now we're rolling for vertical climb. They also need a 5 or a 6 to hit us. which thankfully that's a 3, so nothing happening there, which means so because it was only one round, we both miss. He flies off, and then we come back to, and then now we're back to flying over the map. So now we'll move into zone 4. And we'll see our next interception roll. Actually, I'm going to bring this over here since I'm rolling for interception. Very nice to be here. Finished work early tonight. Nice. All right, that's an 8, which is another no contact, another very welcome roll. Now into zone 5. And no contact rolls here are very good because we've got no fighter cover this far over the Atlantic Ocean. That's an 8, which is another very welcome no contact roll. We're getting very lucky on this one. All right, so now we're going to be into zone 6 as we are rolling. We roll for an encounter like normal first. But then we have to roll, but then we're going to be dealing with bombing over the target. That's a 7, so now we've got 2 P-80 shooting stars coming at us. So 2 P-80 shooting stars. So I'll grab out 2 P-80s, and we'll see where these are coming at us from. Same roll as before. Alright, so that's approach 1, which means he's coming at us from basically nose, and he's coming at us high. So I'll grab a high chit out for him. And actually let's bring the position chart back in shot. So there's our first P-80 that we're rolling for. Now we'll get the second one. That's coming at us from approach 8, which is directly behind us and at level. So we've got 1 high and 8 level. I'll grab a level chit out for that. Okay, so now that we've got that all set up, we don't have any fighter cover because we're in zone 6 at this point. So now we fire first. So now we have to figure out what we actually want to fire at both of these planes. So at approach 1, we're definitely going to aim the nose guns. And what else can we do with approach 1? We can aim the top turret, which is going to be the top front turret at that as well. As for approach 8, we'll aim the tail guns. But we can't use the ventral turret. We can't use the ventral turret because the P-80 is level. So we're going to bring both of them into long range. Which the range will affect us. Actually, will the range affect us? No, it doesn't look like it. So we're going to roll first. So we're going to roll for everything here. First up, we're going to subtract an ammo from the nose guns. And then we'll fire at this P-80. And for approach 1, we need a 6 dead on to hit. Which that's a 1, so not happening there. So this is long. Nose gun, and we'll do the same thing with the top front turret. Once again, we need exactly a 6 to hit. The only good thing about that is they do too. That's a 4, so that also misses. So what was that? Top front turret. Now we're aiming the tail guns at the one coming at us from 8 o'clock, from approach 8 low. So the tail guns also have a 5 ammo. We need a 4 to 6 to hit them as well, as Conflict Board Gaming now stops by. Thanks for stopping by and spending part of your Thursday evening around. We need a 4 to 6 to hit this one. which that's a 4, so that one will be a hit. Which means we roll for... Alright, so we do roll for hits. We're going to roll the black die to see how many hits we get. But unfortunately, because... Actually, do the P80s have a... Oh no, the P80s don't have any kind of modifier. So we're getting 2 random hits on that P80. And I know I've... Oh, here's my damage chart. So once again, we're going to roll this, just like we roll the damage in the Hunters or a lot of the other Greg Smith games. Okay. So we're going to roll them APA style. I'll use the black as my 10s, white as my 1s. Alright, that's a 53, so our first hit is minor damage. In other words, they'll laugh it off. Actually, that is... Wait, that's for them, I think. No, fighter damage to bomber. Okay, so we do have to roll... So the 5 is actually for what we do, what happens to them. So, because we hit it with a 6 firepower, the 5 actually just takes this one, just takes this P80 completely out. So the damage is actually to us. Which is, so the damage that we'd be rolling the 2d6 for and combining them is actually to us. So that one just gets flattened. So now we're rolling for approach 1 low to see if it hits us. And I'm going to use the black die, or the white die for if they hit, black for how many. Once again, of course, he needs a 6 to hit, so he gets it, and he deals us 5 hits. So now we're rolling this APA style, which brings me back to our damage charts right here. So our first hit that we're getting hit with is a 32. 32 is minor damage, so we will laugh that one off. Hopefully we're not about to get shot down again. Our next hit is a 12. Oh dear, that's a port wing hit. And the port wing brings us down to our damage subcharts. So we'll roll these and add them together. In this case, it's an 8, so that's a flap hit. Which a flap hit, landing modifier could be +1 if all of them get taken out. So port wing flap. Alright. Alright, we've got 3 more hits that we're rolling for. That's a 61. Uh-oh. That one's a weapons hit. That could be very problematic. Which is another subchart. Hopefully we get a 7 out of this. A 9 is a starboard waist hit, but since we're in an ME364 that doesn't have waist guns, we get to treat that as a no damage. So, ha. So, starboard waist. Unfortunately, we do still have 2 hits that we have to roll for. A 43. 43 is an airframe hit. So we'll grab another damage chit for the airframe. Actually, we'll do this. I'm going to grab a numbered marker for the airframe hits, because that first one is going to take 8 of those. And then our last hit, still from long range, by the way, is a 64. 64 is another weapons hit. So let's see what we get this time. 7 is a minor damage, so we get to laugh that one off. Unfortunately, we didn't touch that P80, but we'll aim at it again. So now coming into medium range. Once again, we need a 6 to hit it. So we'll aim both. So we'll start off with the nose guns. We'll get a 4 ammo chip for that. So starting off with the nose guns. That's a 4, so that does nothing. And then for the top front turret, which that'll turn into another 4. Actually, the top front turret's got 6 firepower to it. A 6, okay, that one will hit it, and a 5 will destroy it. Which is fortunate for us, since we are over the target at this point, which means that'll actually stay in shot because that's got the reference of what I need for checking anything over the target, since that's where we are now. So we start off over the target by rolling for anti-aircraft fire. I do have an option, so I roll a d6. Let's see, when would I release chaff? Because I definitely want to release chaff if I can here. Okay, so just checking here. Anti-aircraft fire is attacked twice. So we roll so we have to roll to see how much anti-air fire we're taking. On a 1 to 2, it's light. 3 to 4 is medium. 5 to 6 is heavy. That's a 3, so we're under medium fire. So medium. Okay, may also be reduced if. Oh, so we could have released. Actually, we would release chaff. About to take medium. Okay. So we are going to release 2 chaff markers here to make the anti-air a little bit less accurate, which means we get so on our 2d6 when we determine how much anti-air we actually take. So this is going to be a -4 to the roll, -2 per chaff that we release, and we let both of them fly, plus another -1 for medium anti-air. So a 7 minus 5 is 2 hits from anti-air. So now let's see how much anti-air we're taking. Let's see what hits we're taking. 44 is another weapons hit. Good grief. That's a 5, which knocks out our top aft turret. Once again, jokes on them because we don't have a top aft turret in this bomber. And then our last hit is a 44, which is, jeez, another weapons hit? Good grief. Let's see what it hits this time. Really doesn't like my weapon systems. That's an 11. Ooh, doesn't look like the nose turret. Yikes. That could be a little bit of a problem, which unfortunately will knock my nose guns out for the rest of the sortie. But I do get to bomb the target at this point. So the way we're going to do that is we're going to start off by rolling to see if we're on target or not. So I'll start off with the black die to determine if we're on target. A 1 to 4 says we are on target. 5 to 6 says we're off target. So bombing run. That's a 4, so we're just barely on target. There's barely on target, and now we'll roll 2d6 again. Higher the better, so we do more damage to the target. That's a 7, so we do 30% damage. That's not terrible. 30% damage. Okay, so now we roll again for anti-aircraft fire. So now that we've bombed the target, we basically are going to do that whole thing in reverse again. So we'll start by seeing how... So this is return. So as we're turning around, we get hit with another round of anti-air. Okay, this time... Okay, we're still under medium anti-air. I'll use both my chaff again, which will knock the roll down to a -4 again. Actually, a total of -5. That's an 11 minus 5 is still 6 hits. So we could be facing serious problems here. 4, 5, and 6. And I just had... Okay, it's up here. Alright, so our first hit that we've got coming in, a 35, that's an airframe hit. So that'll flip over. Then our next one, 12 is another port wing hit. Port wing this time. Snake Eyes, uh-oh, that's a jet engine hit. And, yeah, I'm pretty sure we have a jet engine on here, which could potentially be a major problem. So, yeah, it looks like we've got a port jet engine that's been hit. Actually, I don't think we have a jet engine on here, actually. It looks like it's all propeller engines. Do they have jet engines on these planes? I think they all probably do. Or would it say on here in particular if it's got a jet engine on here? I'm going to look. I'm going to look at some of my other planes. Yeah, it looks like it would specify if there's a jet engine on here, so it doesn't look like these ones have jet engines, which means we get to treat that as no damage. Or as minor damage, I should say. The term actually is minor damage. So this is hit number 3 that we're dealing with. 34 is a nose hit, yikes. Let's see, we have to be very careful here, because we could end up with a lot of problems here. So let's see what we get from this nose hit. That's an 11. Okay, that's a flight engineer hit. So we presumably will have to check for... So it looks like we'll probably have to check for how well he came off. So I'm just looking here. Flight engineer hit. So we have to roll for the status for him. 1 to 3, he's fine. 4 to 5, he's got a serious wound. 6, he's killed in action. That's a 2, he's got a light wound. He'll walk that off. Hit number 4 coming in. That's a 32, that's minor damage. Hit 5. 64, another weapons hit. They really like going after my weapon systems. That's a 10. This time, oh yikes, this time it'll knock out my ventral turret. Well, gonna be about time to figure out how to go evasive on some of these. So my ventral turret's out. And then our final hit is an 11. Uh-oh, crew injury. So let's see what we get here. We'll use the white die for the crew member affected, black die for how bad it is. Actually, we need... Never mind, we need both D6 for this. So we'll roll first to see who's affected. Alright, an 8 is a random gunner. So we'll roll white for the random gunner and black for how bad it is. Alright, white is affecting the ventral gunner. He's got a light wound. Well, he wasn't going to be doing much anyway with the ventral turret knocked out for the rest of the sortie. So now we're turning around and heading back for home. So we've got zone 5 that we're going back into. Zone 5 for interception. That's a 10, so we've got 2 F8F Bearcats coming at us. Depending on where these are coming at us from, we could end up being sitting ducks. But let's see how bad, let's see where these are coming at us from. So the first one is we'll bring the position chart back in shot. That's coming at us from approach 2 and low. And then the other one is coming at us from approach 10. So again, I'm going to take a quick drink, but I'm looking here against vertical dive. I'm almost certain I'm a sitting duck. Let's see. Actually, the top turret could go after vertical dive, so it will. As for approach 2, we can't use the nose guns against it. Actually, of all the times to have both my turrets that could go after approach 2 knocked out, this is the one that we're actually a sitting duck against. So that's going to be a major league problem. So this one, we're a sitting duck, and I don't think there's any way we can go evasive to get away from him. No. That's a problem. So we only have to worry about the vertical dive one for one round. The top front turret's got 6 firepower to it. So we'll do the one shot that we can make. We need, from vertical dive, we need a 5 or a 6 to hit that one. That is a 5, and he's damaged, so we will still get to fire. So vertical dive, that was from the top front turret. But he was going to be breaking off anyway. And unfortunately, against this plane coming at us from approach 2 low, like I said, we're a sitting duck against that one. So now we'll roll for the plane coming at us from vertical dive. Once again, 5 or a 6 to hit, and I'm going to throw both dice in here. Let's see, that's a 3, so fortunately nothing happening there, so that one misses. Then he misses, so he'll break off. Unfortunately, the one coming at us from approach 2 low needs a... That one needs a 6 to hit us, fortunately, so that's something. That's a 5, so nothing happening there. That's fortunate for us. So, long miss. Coming into medium range now. So he flies off. Actually, could we... I don't think we can aim the top front turret at level and high. No, we can't aim it at that one coming at approach 2 coming at us from low. So we are still a sitting duck. So coming at us from medium... That's a 1, so no hit there. I'm going to see if I can bring the tower just a little bit more in shot. There we are. So that's also a miss. And then from short range, So he was at medium, now he's at short. That's a 3, so after missing us 3 times, he'll actually break off. Because they have 3 rounds. These are 3 combat rounds that they get against us, I believe. After Bomber's defensive fire. Okay, any surviving fighters fire and then break off. Okay, so he will immediately break off. And now we've got a little bit of a problem, because while we're likely to survive, we're pretty much a sitting duck. We're pretty much a sitting duck anywhere from... Actually, there's no pretty much about it. We're a sitting... Well, we'll talk about it later, but there's a very good chance we're going to end up being sitting ducks here. So moving into Zone 4 for our next round of interception. That's a 6, which is fortunately for us, no contact. So I very much welcome that. So now we're into Zone 3, which is a 10, which will give us 2 F8F Bearcats coming at us. We'll roll for where those are coming at us from. Unfortunately, we're still just out of range for fighter cover. So that could be a little bit of a problem, but we'll see how bad it is. So the first Bearcat is coming at us from approach 10 from vertical dive. That's an approach we can aim at. Approach 5 low is probably not an approach we can aim at, though. Approach 5 low. So let's see what we can do here. We can put the top turret on vertical dive. Can we do anything? Actually, we can put the top front turret. Hold on. I can only aim at one of these. Can I do anything with the tail guns? 6 to 8 all levels, no. So I'm actually going to aim... Which one's going to have a harder time hitting me? That's the question. I think they're both going to have an equally bad time hitting us. So I'm going to actually aim at... Actually, can the top front turret go at... No, he can't go at low, so I will have to aim at... So I will have to aim the top front turret at vertical dive. Unfortunately, the one from approach 5, the only other gun I've got available is the tail gun. The tail gun can't aim at that one. But since vertical dive is going to break off after the attack anyway, actually, no, I can't even attack the... I can't even approach attack 5 with the top front... Attack approach 5 with the top front turret. So against this plane, I'm a total sitting duck. So 5 low. That's problematic. So we'll see what we can do with the top front turret as we aim at approach 10. So that'll turn into a 2. That's against vertical dive. That's a 2, so we miss it. And I'll do the fire on the... So I'll do the offensive fire on vertical dive first. Once again, needs a 5 or a 6. That's a 4, so it will miss as well. Which is a good thing, too. Because if he would have hit, he probably could have done a lot of damage in 5 hits. So let's see what approach 5 low can do to us. He needs a 5 or a 6 to hit as well. That's a 3, so nothing happening for him there. As he moves into medium range next, the one coming at us from vertical dive will fly off. And then coming at us into medium range. That's the F8F from 5 low, which is another miss. And at short range, that's another miss. So fortunately, he's actually going to fly off. So he nopes out, and we get away with actually zone 3, as Philip Reynolds now stops by and joins us here. We actually, that was zone, why did I think that was zone 4? Nope, that was zone 3, so we actually did have some fighter cover available to us. So now we're into zone 2. Now we start getting into more of our, into more of our fighter cover. We're rolling a 2d6 for interception. That's an 8, which is once again a very welcome no contact. Those are the 2 most beautiful words in the English language right now. I'm not trying to shoot your wife's airplane down, Philip. This is during World War II Europe in a fictional Amerika bomber, a long-range bomber after the Germans have won the war in Europe. So now that we're back over zone 1, we don't have an interception roll, which means we do have to try to roll. We have to try to put this bird down. So let's see what kind. Actually, we'll roll the D10 for weather, and then we'll take. She's going to the Galapagos Islands in the morning. Very nice. Vacation or a professional trip? Anywho, D10 for the weather, 2d6 for the landing, and we don't have. Actually, we don't have any modifier. So right now, the modifier depends on if we get any kind of weather problems. Okay, that's a 9, so we've got bad weather, but I don't think the bad weather is going to add enough to make a difference anyway. I'll check. That is +2 to try to land during bad weather. So 7 plus 2 is a 9, which is still a good landing. Okay, so now that we've got all that sorted out, we're all done missions trip. Ah, nice. Okay, so now that we've got that all figured out, now we've put this down, which means we get to look at Alright, so there should be a section here on debriefing after the mission is over. Just double checking for that. Okay, so obtain awards and experience points. Looks like we get 1 experience point every time we fly, presumably. Bombing procedure, post-combat. Okay, so we didn't have any kind of issues there. So total up, then apply the results, which we got all of that. Injury durations, we don't have any kind of injuries that we have to worry about. So for every 4 sorties flown, the crew gains an experience. So we don't gain any new experience points. So we only have the 2 experience points right now, but we are at the end of the month. So at this point, after the new numerical marker has been placed, so now we do get to request research, which will bring us to the pilot and crew status. I'll zoom in on this. So we've got various things that we can request. We can get an advance on a stronger Amerika bomber, actually on a couple of them, improve the modifying of our jamming, fighter cover to make it easier for them to get to us, fire suppression, technology, engine fires are automatically put out. We've started working on improved bombing sights. We could also get the bomb run results in terms of whether or not B10 would affect whether or not we're on target. Then a blind landing aid, which is a -1 modifier. Improved survival ramps, so a +3 to chart B9, which is potential rescue. Landing in water or bailout over water if the rafts are undamaged. And improved fuel tanks. I'm going to continue working on the bomb site. So improved bomb sight. And now we get to roll to see if we learn it. So we learn it on a 2 or less. Now that's on a 1d6 roll. So I'll bring the tower back in shot once I put this down. Tower can go, tip the camera up just a touch. Okay, so we need this die roll to be a 2 or less to learn the improved bomb sight. That's a 5, so we still don't get to learn the... So we still don't learn the improved bomb sight. Research level 2. And that should be it at this point for tonight's mission in Amerika Bomber, Evil Queen of the Skies. Just seeing after the 4th month of service, we just completed our 2nd month. So that will do it for this playthrough of Amerika Bomber, Evil Queen of the Skies. We are not done yet we are not done yet tonight, though. I'm going to clean all of this up, and then I got another delivery in. Actually, I got it in today. It was waiting for me when I got home. So once I get all this cleaned up, we're going to crack that open here on the channel and see what I've got. And I think I want to do this. Look like that. I'm just making sure I get everything organized in here for everything I need for my missions. Okay, that goes there. That's the spot on my tray I'm designating for that. So this bird will get repaired before the next time we get it onto the channel. And I will mention that this game will be coming out again during the off-season, at least one more time. Stick around for a little bit, Magnus. There's some new stuff. Well, thanks for stopping by, but if you stick around for a little bit, you'll get to see some of the new stuff coming in that just came in today. As once again, my mail carrier is probably wondering what he or she did in a past life to be charged with having to deliver mail to a YouTuber. Alright, we'll zoom the camera back out. There we go. I knew I had to... Oh, I forgot to put my dice back in the box. So hold on just a second while I take care of that. Oh, thanks for staying for a little bit, Magnus. This won't take too long. Oh boy. So we've got another sizable delivery. This is actually from a fellow YouTuber. Jester, you might know him, Dave's Board Gaming. He stopped by for both Game 6 of the Stanley Cup Final and for Pinot with Phoenix last night. So, so how I came into this delivery, this wasn't something I bought, actually. Dave from Dave's Board Gaming actually messaged me out of the blue on Sunday morning as I was going through my second workout, and he messaged me, he's like, hey, just looking for you to say hi and also to tell you that you've got a package coming your way. And thanks for the kind words on the playthroughs, Troy. I do try to make them as entertaining as I can. So he just told me out of the blue, he's like, yeah, you've got a package coming in. I'm like, oh, sweet. What's in here? Well, I know what's in here, but you guys are going to find out what all is in here. So, without any further ado, let's crack this open and see what we've got in here. If it ever wants to cooperate with me. There we are. Run this down the middle. Thankfully, the tape job doesn't seem to be too excessive as I start having problems. Ah. Looks like we picked up a little bit of the tape residue. Actually, probably from the labels that I used to cover up our addresses. There we go. Ow. Seemed like it was puncturing my hand a little bit holding the blade like that, but not too bad. Anyway, what we've got in here, holy cow, these are big games. So the first game that we're greeted by in here, whoa, this one's heavy. You're probably seeing the other one that we're being greeted by, but we'll get that out of the way for the time being. And we're being greeted by, the first game we've got in here is a game called Weirdwood Manor. This is by, looks like it's designed by Mike Cassie, artwork by Sean Richardson, Anna Earley, and Steve Palmer. I'm sure when I flip this over, I'll find out who it's by. Grey Ridge Games, and it's a Kickstarter Deluxe Edition. Enter the world of Weirdwood Manor, where the magical and mysterious realm of the Fae intersects with the everyday world of the real. Assume the role of one of 6 different characters and join up to 4 valiant companions at the nexus of these two worlds. The manor itself, ruled over by the enigmatic Lady Weirdwood. As you play, you'll gain experience and improve your powers as you coordinate strategies with your companions to battle against one of 3 asymmetrically designed evil monsters from the Fae and their insidious minions, the Clockwork Scarabs. Offering high variability and replayability, the game features a unique temporal mechanic that reflects the magical, ever-shifting manor. Every time a player or the Fae monster takes an action, time will move forward in the game, and the connections between the rooms will shift via unique rotating corridor rings on the game board. Fighting against time, you'll make use of dice drafting, card play, resource management, and location actions as you move through the ever-shifting manor in pursuit of ultimate victory over the Fae monster. That sounds, actually that sounds really interesting. But that's not the only thing we're greeted by in here. The other game that we're greeted by in here, oh boy, this is probably the heavy one of the bunch. We've got Frostpunk, the board game by 11-Bit Studios and Glass Cannon Unplugged. And I think I recognize 11-Bit Studios. Let me go back into the closet for a second. Opening closet door, yep. Closing closet door. I thought I recognized 11-Bit Studios, and the reason I recognize it is because they're the same company that makes This War of Mine, which is another game I really enjoy. And actually I got a copy from Jester, and I backed the new Kickstarter that came out for that. So let's take a look at the back of Frostpunk. The city must survive. In an entirely frozen world, people develop steam-powered technology to oppose the overwhelming cold. You face the task of building the last city on Earth and securing the means necessary for your community to survive. Frostpunk, the board game, is a city survival game where heat means life and every decision comes with a cost. What decisions will you make to ensure the survival of your society? What will you do when pushed to the limit? And who will you become in the process? Admittedly, I've never played the video game, and yet creators of This War of Mine, I've really enjoyed my playthroughs of This War of Mine, so this is another one I'm excited about getting to the channel. It's also a cooperative board game for 1 to 4 players, set in a cold, post-apocalyptic 19th century world. Survival is only possible due to advanced steam technology, the pinnacle of which is the generator, this marvel of engineering that provides life-giving heat to what remains of humanity. As the advisors of what may be the last city on Earth, your main objective is for the city to survive. Each scenario has its own objectives that you must fulfill in order to win the game. The task placed upon your shoulders is not an easy one. The world of Frostpunk is a hostile and dangerous place, and only by managing your city well will you achieve victory. So, very nice. Another very cool game, and I look forward to getting that on the channel as well. So we're definitely going to be busy with unboxings coming up this weekend. Probably perfect timing for my 2009-10 hockey season replay to be over with, so I can catch up on some of these unboxings and get some pleasure gaming done on the channel. Or done off the channel, I should say. These first 2 weeks are what I call my side break. Anywho, I'm rambling a bit, so let's wrap this video up. We're going to be busy on the... Well, actually, we're not as busy coming up on the channel. Saturday, Mystical Munchies will commence with Redo Month for October 2025, as we revisit the Exquisite Exandria official Critical Role cookbook for the appetizer, Grog's Garlicky Mayonnaise, also fries. Sunday morning, the fall campaign in B-17 Flying Fortress Leader by DVG will continue. As for next week, let me see what we're playing next week. I gotta go to my Excel spreadsheet.
Welcome to r/entitled parents.
Whoop. Did not mean to start that playing. Sorry about that. Normally, I would think to turn that down. Anywho, back to summer content. Oh, that's right. We are playing... Next week's the 8th already, so we are playing Dragon Age tabletop role-playing game by Green Ronin Publishing. Thank you for watching the video. Please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Be sure to turn on notifications so you get my content. Be well, stay safe, take care of yourselves and your loved ones, and I'll be back with more videos in the future. Until then, take care everyone.